Nintendo Switch Online launched back in September of 2018, and for a couple of years, the game library was a little lackluster. Sure, you had some decent games, but the amount of games offered in comparison to Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus was disappointing. Especially when you consider the absolute stacked back catalog Nintendo has. In recent years, the library of games has gotten much better, but there's still plenty of hit games we need offered on the service. So today I want to share with you 5 games Nintendo needs to add to NSO right now. Number 1, Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. This entry counts as one, but I figured you can't add just one. I'm already breaking the rules of my own video, but I mean, Pokemon Red and Blue go together like PB&J. And Pokemon Yellow released shortly after as an updated version of Red and Blue, but also with a different storyline loosely based off the anime. And I'm actually pretty surprised that Nintendo hasn't added these already, considering how popular the franchise is. We saw these added to the 3DS Virtual Console back in 2016 for the 20th anniversary of Pokemon, but of course the eShop for 3DS was shut down back in March of this year, so they're no longer accessible. Considering that Pokemon Red and Blue are the greatest selling games for the original Game Boy, there is absolutely no reason Nintendo should keep these off their service. Number 2, Paperboy for the NES. Originally released in the arcade by Atari Games, Paperboy, or as I like to call it, Paper Bro, was also a lot of fun to play. You take control of an honest working adolescent in the 1980s and serve your community, or disserve depending on where you throw the paper, while monsters and obstacles try to ruin your day. Gameplay is simple enough: lean left or lean right, throw paper left, throw paper right, but the key to being a successful Paper Bro is to get it in the mailbox. Perhaps this one hasn't made it to NSO because Nintendo doesn't think people will know what a newspaper is. That seems silly enough to actually be the reason. Number 3, Chrono Trigger for the Super Nintendo. You can't speak about the greatest RPGs of all time without bringing up Chrono Trigger. With alternate endings, time travel, and unique battle system for its time, no pun intended of course, this game seemed to have it all, and there is no excuse for leaving the Super Nintendo gem back in 1995. Maybe Nintendo should travel back in time and remember how beloved this game is. Fetching a loose copy on eBay will cost you enough money to make you want to throw up. Not to mention the fact that you have to have a Super Nintendo to play it and a TV that can support the low resolution or an HDMI adapter, which usually makes it look bad. Now there was a port for PlayStation, but the load times were abysmal. Nintendo DS also got a port, but it's also expensive. Number 4, Diddy Kong Racing for N64. Released back in 1997 by Rare for the N64, was a racing alternative to the Mario Kart franchise. Not only could you race in cars, but hovercraft and airplanes too. With an open world concept for the story mode, Diddy Kong Racing was offering something Mario Kart wasn't, and that's probably why this game has such a cult following. The hours a young Heckin Steve spent playing this game could trump Mario Kart by days. Nintendo DS also saw a release for Diddy Kong Racing, but nothing could ever top the sweet nostalgia of the Nintendo 64 version. Number 5, General Chaos for the Sega Genesis. I may be a little biased with this choice, but General Chaos was a sleeper title for the Sega Genesis. I rarely hear this game get brought up in other YouTube videos or retro gaming conversations, but this is an RTS that deserves to be played. Published by Electronic Arts in 1993, you know, back when EA didn't ruin everything they touched. This game follows 2 brothers named Chaos and Havoc who fight over a rare comic book and end up ripping it apart. As adults, they both become military dictators and fight wars for decades with each other. Now that's a storyline anyone can get behind. Bonus picks, Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort. So with this list, I tried to pick games for consoles already established on Nintendo Switch Online, but wouldn't it make sense to offer Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort? I mean, they're some of the best-selling titles in Nintendo's catalog in 3rd place, behind Mario and Pokemon. One could argue they've sold this much because Wii Sports was a pack-in game for the Nintendo Wii, but either way, those games are still highly sought after by gamers. And sure, Switch has Switch Sports, but there's no boxing on there, and the Sword Showdown mode in Wii Sports Resort makes the sword fighting mode in Switch Sports look like a demo. I don't know, it's just not hitting like Wii Sports did. But guys, that's going to conclude the video for today. Let me know in the comments what games you would like to see on Nintendo Switch Online, and please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Heckin Steve, and I'll catch you in the next video.